Om Shanti, everyone. Welcome. Welcome to the Monday workshops. And today we have a very special guest with us, Sister Jyotika from Dubai. She's the most loved one in the Brahmin family, and you'll get to know why and how. And just to revisit quickly why we do these sessions. One of the main reasons why we do these sessions is we especially invite BKs, the yogis who have been practicing for a long period of time and use spirituality to handle a lot of the life challenges. And apart from that, they also have a lot of deep spiritual experiences. And one of the main things we need to understand when we are working on spirituality is spirituality is subtle. It cannot be measured with any tangible things. It is based on bhavna. It is based on pure love, and love is not black and white. And the depth of love that we have keeps changing with sorry, give me a minute. My camera just 1 minute. So one of the main things about spirituality is you only know spirituality only when you experience. We have heard so many philosophies, very interesting, very much stimulating, but we'll never get to know who we are as a spiritual being, who is God, the Father of all souls, unless you get to experience for yourself. And how can I experience when I'm so absorbed in this worldliness? So one of the fastest way, one of the means as a human being, one of the abilities that we have is we have an ability to empathize with others. What is the practice of empathy? So we literally put yourself in shoes of others when you're hearing, when you're listening to somebody going through a certain experience. So as you can tune into others' experience, a part within our consciousness gets activated and it start re-emerging all those feelings that you might have experienced long back, which you are not aware of it right now. And it's a very powerful technique to experience spirituality, to get to know you yourself as a spiritual being and all your divinity within you, and that relationship with the divine and all the Brahmin family. So without any further ado, I want to invite Sister Jyotika. Sister Jyotika is, let me quickly share. Sister Jyotika has been serving the yajna for over almost 3 decades, right? And she is literally born into Brahmin family. And you can imagine, and then there is some subtleties that we are going to understand with from sisters sharing. She is born into Brahmin family. She was very much attracted to Baba's vibrations, to the center's vibrations. She took Palna since she was born, like very young. You'll see some of the pictures. It's very much how much she's loved and pampered. I wouldn't use the word pampered. She was sustained by the Avyakt family. And when you are very young, you get to experience subtle without questioning. You just absorb that love without even questioning, right? But as we grow up, there is certain things comes up in our life, like sometimes some people may call midlife crisis, and how midlife crisis in Brahmin life comes up. And she is also going to share some of that and how she got through. But her thing is more around when she was teen and she was trying to get her bearings on the tracks of the life, and she's going to share some of her personal experiences and how Dadis and Baba has helped her to get through some of the challenges. Maya is very subtle, right? And how she has got through all of that thing. So it's a very beautiful session. You're going to really enjoy all of this. Without any further ado, I want to invite Jyotika Ben. Let me just stop sharing. We have Sister Jyotika. Welcome.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Welcome.
Thank you for the introduction, Harsha Bhai, and also for the opportunity to share my spiritual life experiences. I always have been in the feelings that what can I share with the Brahmin family, with the BK family, when they themselves are so rich and abundant in their experiences by connecting themselves to Baba, the Alokik family that we all have been bestowed with. And am I eligible to do so when I myself am still walking on the path? So, with all the humility for Baba and the great knowledge that Baba has bestowed on me, and also with the thought that I can listen to and imbibe such knowledge from Baba, with all regards to our seniors, dadis and didis and the dadas, who became examples by walking their talk with that dharana. I would like to share some of my personal experiences. I'm coming from a different time zone. I just finished my Amrit Vela and listening to the Murli class. We all do that as a routine every day. We connect for Amrit Vela together and followed by the Murli in Hindi and English simultaneously. So it's already 8th of June for me. So it's an interesting thing that we could all join with thanks to science that I was able to travel to you all. Um, Sharing my experience, as Harshabhai said, my parents had attained the knowledge before my birth, just before my birth, and I'm fortunate to be surrounded by the BKs, and from almost the time that I have opened my eyes. So it was Brahmins sustaining me, and I'm fortunate also to have all the Laukiks in the Alaukik path. So there was never that Laukik feelings whenever I dealt with my parents, my brother. So there was always that Alaukik feeling because we all shared that common knowledge from my childhood days. And I had the best of the childhood days. It was a very humble beginning, but very rich and abundant in spiritual sustenance, whether through the Lokik family. I have to use these words uh, to address to my family there, physical family, but also by the Alokik family. It was those days when we all know there were no such gadgets and devices as we have now. There was no internet, so there was a lot of time to spend with the families on both the side. So it was really the moment that I cherish even till now. And my parents were uh, following all the dharanas with lot of love. They were very active on the spiritual life, whether in their efforts, spiritual endeavor, or in the service field. They were very active. But on the other hand, there was no pressure, there was no push for me to walk on the spiritual path. I have experienced that it was very natural for all four of us to lead life as per the Shrimat and Maryadas. And parents had strong thought and the surrendered intellect towards the children. I think this counted a lot in my progress, and which made easy for us to walk on the path very naturally. So it was as though, you know, it was ingrained forever. It had always been there in my life. Our Lokik background is also that of Brahmins. My parents had always maintained the Haranas, and they really had that spiritual touch, for everything. So all the dharanas became very easy to be followed for me as well, as though it existed in my life forever. And I didn't go through any questions or doubts about the knowledge. And there was no such looking back or thinking otherwise, that is there anything else should I do? But there was only studying the knowledge for greater understanding. And it was somewhere in the corner of my mind always, even as I was growing up, that this will give me the answer to all the questions and all the situations that I might come up in my life. So I don't call anything like the crisis in my life. It was very natural, but I just had that curiosity to understand more of the knowledge and apply it in day-to-day life, so that I can deal with that in a different way than how my friends were doing. They were not BKs. I had for a long time had the thought that this is the only life for everyone in the world. Such was the impression in my mind, where my friends were not BKs. But on the other hand, there was this curiosity to understand Baba's knowledge in such a way that I can apply that in my day to day life, something different than what my friends used to do. And we had such very rich sharing also at times in the school days. And Baba's knowledge literally makes everyone very unique, and they stand out from the group. This is what I have experienced. Whether you speak that you follow certain spirituality or not, it doesn't matter. But Baba's children become very evident uh, from their thoughts, from their words, and their actions will be very different, which maybe we ourselves cannot understand and comprehend, but others can see that. And also, I have experienced that being spiritual, being in Baba's knowledge, souls keep watching us. This is something which I have realized over a period of time. I need not tell that I am following something, but souls keep watching. I think it happens even otherwise, even if they don't know anyone, but they keep watching because the world is curious to have certain examples in front of them. They want to follow. They have that innate values, inner values, and qualities in their self, in themselves, and they want to take the subtle support of someone who might be following in front of them, whether they know them or not, but they will be watching others. And this is how Baba, Sakar Baba always felt, जैसा कर्म मैं करूँगा मुझे देख और करेंगे. The karma, that actions that I do, others will also follow me. And Brahma Baba had that awareness so much in his life. So this, over a period of time, I also understood. And a few incidents which I would like to share, stepwise, helped me in awakening my own knowledge, my own understanding of the knowledge about myself and Baba. And Baba has been the guiding light during all this time. The knowledge comes from Baba, but also I have felt that he gives us that intellect and that understanding to experience him. We just need to be looking at him like maybe a sunflower. I always liked this flower from my childhood, but then later on I understood the analogy that Baba mentions about this flower. I just need to be looking at the sun of knowledge, and then Baba becomes the not only the bestower of knowledge, someone who teaches, but also helps us in experiencing in a certain way. There is that experience coming from within, and then again, in a third step, Baba verifies that through Murli. This is what I have understood. So, Baba, we listen to the Murli and listen to the knowledge, but then Baba helps us in experiencing, as well as Baba verifies whether my experience is going in a right track or not. It was always ingrained in my mind that Brahma Baba is my father. I don't know from where this feeling had come, but I remember one incident very vividly, and this has been a very rich resource in my personal life. And that is during the school assembly days when I was in the kindergarten. There used to be a very unique song in Kannada being played. I come from southern part of India, Karnataka, and in the school, this particular song used to be played. And back home, I would see the pictures of Brahma Baba. I would, uh, I understood that Baba means father, maybe partially that reason. But whenever this song was played, wherein there was reference to a father, I would always have the vision. It was not the vision like as in vision we understand, but I would see myself as a little child walking and Baba holding my hands, Sakar Baba holding my hands and walking. I used to see that happening in the school ground. It is a bit amusing, even now when I recall this experience. But I cherish this memory a lot. And whenever something happens, somehow this scene again comes back to my vision and everything becomes so clear. So this was always in my mind. And uh, later on, I maybe it was when I was around 9 years or 10 years, around that time, in my school, the Hindi language was introduced. I come from the background where Kannada is my mother tongue, and that was my also the first language of learning in the school days. And that particular year, Hindi language was introduced, and my Lokik mother always used to share the stories of Yajna in the childhood days, whenever maybe at night after dinner, in the morning while I was drinking milk, she would share the experience of the Yajna of Dadis, how they went through so much and how much love that they had for Baba and Yajna and how it was unconditional. There was no condition when they belonged to Baba. They didn't verify anything, they didn't analyze anything, but it was just that unconditional acceptance and belonging to Baba. I used to hear such stories, and there was this book you all might know, Jeevan Ko Paltane Wali Adbhut Kahani, an amazing story of life transformation, which will transform the life. So that is written by our respected brother Jagdish Bhaiji. And this Yagya history book I picked up and started reading when I was introduced to Hindi language in the schools. And it was the only book I have read without break, I think. It was in the month of January, coincidentally, because in that age you won't think, why you are doing something at some particular time. I just had randomly picked up, and then I was reading this book. And other than the school and the assignments given in the school, the only thing I would do is to read this book. And there were so many loving experiences, and that curiosity started being quenched when I was reading the stories of Baba and Mama. And there is a very funny thing which happened to me, but that's also one of the turning points in my life. And that was during that year, the same month, we had gone to Madhuban for Avyakt Bapdada meeting on 18th of January. And even this book was there with me during the travel, I remember. And when we reached Madhuban, in those days we used to stay there for 3 full days. One day reaching and last day leaving. So 3 days in between full days staying there. And in between, Baba would come. The middle day would be Baba's day. And on that day, it so happened it was in Om Shanti Bhavan, and I was sitting there along with my mother, Lokik mother, and everyone were meditating. It was invoking Bap Dada. Dadi Gulzar came and there was meditation going on. And after the red light, the white light was on. And I looked at my mother and asked, I still remember, I asked, from where did Baba come? And she turned to me and looked at me with such a loving drishti. But she, I'm sure, didn't want to break her silence because she was in silence for the whole day. She had told me the day before itself that tomorrow I won't be talking to you, but I'll be there with you. I remember that very clearly even now. And on that day, of course, she didn't want to break her silence and miss any single opportunity of drishti from Baba. So she looked at me very lovingly and said, I'll explain you later. And then we were sitting and the Murli went on. I don't remember the Murli. I couldn't understand the Murli, first of all, because I was just present there. But then at the end of the Murli, when it was the time to meet, uh, it was announced that Baba would give Drishti to everyone. There were, I don't remember how many souls there. And there was the line of the children to come on the stage. So my mother asked me to join that I didn't want to, basically. I wanted to go with my mother, but then she said, why don't you go? And I went and stood in the line. There were many young children. And when I was doing that, when I was in the line and just waiting for my turn to step up on the stage, something very unique happened. And that was that I started seeing a dot, a point of light in the forehead of Dadi Gulzar. And it was such a nice feeling. It was very unique. Actually, I'm unable to explain the real feelings at that time because the body is made up of elements we understand now, and this body is not transparent, and that body also was not transparent to my eyes, but I could see the point of light. Like if I'm coming from the side, I could see the point of light, and as I came in the front, it was point of light in the middle of the forehead. And then I passed the line, past Bap Dada, but it was Dadi Prakash Maniji who would give the toli sitting next to Bap Dada, and I missed doing that because maybe I was just attracted to see Baba. And then Dadiji called me, I remember, Bachi, toli to le lo. So I again came. So at that time, it was a very close encounter with God. uh, so it's very interesting that how it happened. But while doing that, while taking that drishti and passing by, while getting down from the stage, I two things occurred in my mind. Two words came in my mind, and it was very clear. And those words were Sakar Baba and Almighty Baba. And many, many years later, I realized that these were the words that, that were mentioned again and again in the book which I had read about the Yagya history. Sakar Baba and Almighty Baba. So, Almighty Baba, the point of light, we call him the beloved Bap Dada, beloved Baba, the Father. So, he is that, the point of light which I looked at was Almighty Father, and Sakar Baba is actually Brahma Baba. So when I had questioned my mother from where did Baba come, I was actually referring to Brahma Baba. And then by the time I took Drishti from Baba, it was very clear in my mind that it is actually Almighty Father who comes in the body of Brahma Baba. So, in a way, Baba revealed himself to my innocent mind, my curious mind, in my own way. At that time, there were no other feelings and understanding, but just that these two Baba are very different. This is what I had experienced on that day. And from that day onwards, it was always, uh, how should I say, increase in my understanding about Baba. There was never ever that coming down. This is how I feel. So it was such an inexperienced and innocent person I was at that time, but Baba revealed, it's so gracious that Baba revealed himself to me at that time. But it still took few more years for me to properly come on the track of observing all the dharnas in my no, with my willingness. Actually, by dharnas, I mean the Amrit Vela and the regular Murli class. It took few more years for me to channelize, but otherwise, the food habits and all were very pure and due to the family or whatever, and that was never compromised. But my practice of Amrit Vela and Murli started few years later. But in that period also, I can now actually articulate all these things. At that time it might not be such a clear one, but one day I was returning back from school, and the backpack and everything, it was not a long distance, it was only a few meters, distance between my school and my home. And when I was walking back, I just had this one thought all of a sudden out of blue, that what's happening? What's happening that the legs are moving, left leg, right leg. And when the left leg comes in the front, the right hand is also coming in the front, very synchronizingly. And then I had a thought, what's happening? That how I started walking. There was only one thought, that I have to return home. But then I started walking. There was no conscious dictation that I have to walk. But then I started walking. And how it is happening? Who is it that all doing? Who is it doing it all? And how it is happening? So very interesting question for me. And I knew after coming back to home that the answer would be in the Murli, answer would be in understanding the knowledge. I knew that also very clearly. But then, being children, we let go of things. But I remember this thought stayed with me for 2 3 days. That experience, the effect of that experience. But gradually, when I started reading the Murli, listening to the Murli, basically not reading, but listening to the Murli, I came to the understanding of I being the soul, and how the whole mechanism works, and how it is body consciousness so deeply ingrained in ourselves. So gradually that understanding, and I many times feel that this understanding is still not 100%, because otherwise I wouldn't have gone astray from the experience, the constant experience of remaining in soul consciousness, in soul conscious stage. But anyway, that was again another experience which turned my attention towards spirituality and to make it a mainstream in my life. And again, it all happened in the span of 3 4 years that I started studying the course materials. Because coming from uh, coming to Gyan from the childhood days, we never take course, as you can imagine. We always come to the center as though we have been in the knowledge forever. But then during the school holidays, I studied the course material. I heard it repeatedly. I think each session in those days, it used to be the cassettes. I rewinded and heard that maybe for 5 times or so. And then I started noting down points for myself, whatever I heard and I could recall. I read that, I wrote that again in the book. And then I would play the cassette again to check whether I have written the right things, whether it was anyway confusing or not. I used to check that also. This happened for 2 months, and in between that time there was this thought of waking up at Amrit Vela, and I'm happy that I could do that. And I still remember it was the delay of only my wish to be, said out that I want to wake up at Amrit Vela, and then the family made sure that I never miss that, which is a great help actually. And the when after the school days, after 10th standard, I used to think that I should dedicate my life and stay in the center. That was always there in my mind. There was no one who had told that, but I felt as though the family was also for it. They also never thought that there would be any other life for me. So uh, one fine day, after completing my 10th standard, I remember this because this is again a life changing experience for me. I was My brother, my Lokik brother, took me from the center to home, and while we were walking back, there were two things. I'm not sure if he remembers these two things, but I remember very clearly that he asked two questions in between the whole conversation. He asked me two things: do you do Amrit Vela powerfully and every day? I said, every day, no, sometimes I do miss, and powerfully, not really. So this was the first question. And then the second question was, have you studied all the Avyakta Murlis? Have you read all of the Avyakta Murlis? And again, the answer was definitely no. And he made me aware that these are the important things, the foundation of our Brahman life, and without that, how can you speak to others the knowledge? How would it be possible? So it was a very gentle reminder and awareness created in within me, the importance for Amrit Vela, as well as the importance of studying what Baba has told, because there is a guidance for everything literally that we go through in life. First of all, Baba has said it is Brahma Baba who is the example on whose footstep we all have to step, and then everything will be easy. Baba had long back said he is like a computer and you will find all the answers in Brahma Baba's life. And there is not a single incident which hasn't come in front of Brahma Baba that you would be amazed and surprised that you are experiencing that something other than what Brahma Baba had gone through. So first of all, that thing. So Sakar Murlis are clarifying that aspect, but also the churning of Brahma Baba when he was mm, effort making, or so to say, he was walking the spiritual path, and that we find in Avyakta Bapdada Murli as well. So very deep. There is nothing lacking in the Avyakta Murlis. Especially, I felt the 1969 Murlis after I studied that there is a single little thing mentioned about how and what should a Brahmin do. How should be our attitude, our drishti, our words, our actions, our interactions, our relationships, as well as how to forge relationship with Baba, all the explanations of all the stages of yoga, and our connection with the seniors, with the yajna, our responsibility, and how our efforts is connected with world transformation and in taking forward the yajna mantle, everything. And it is very interesting to note that Baba has told Shrimat and clear guidance in the Avyakta Murli for everyone, whether we are coming from any professional background, particularly, or from any other roles that we have to play in the Lokik family, maybe of a mother, a father, maybe a Kumar and a Kumari. Baba has given very clear understanding for everyone. If you are a Kumari and you have this background, this is you have to do. If you are a Kumar, this is what you have to do. If you are in the household, if you need to do be like a trustee, and what you have to be like a trustee, what it means to be like a trustee. So everything Baba has clarified in the Murlis. So 1969 Murli had been my favorite Murli all these years. I'm sorry if there is a disturbance. And another thing is that, for a long time I used to carry this 1969 Avyakta Murli book along with me. Nowadays it is all the soft copy, so I need not carry the book anymore. But that habit has changed because of that. But this was, for a long, long years, I used to travel with the 1969 Avyakta Murlia. That would be the first few things which I would pack in my bag. And Baba has been really very gracious to give me some of life memorable experiences in yoga. One such experience was the vision of two dots. I could see literally two dots. And this used to happen not just in yoga when I was sitting in yoga. At that time, if I look back at that time, I still feel it was not the level of maturity at all to understand yoga. But still, I understand that there were two dots in front of me, one bit higher and one just below on the side, and twinkling. And I could, in my understanding, could feel that one is Baba and one is myself. So that was a very clear understanding. And this was not just happening when I was sitting in yoga, but as well as when I was doing some home household work or going out walking. By listening to the Murli, I would be having such thoughts, such vision in front of me. And it was a very lovely feeling of being light at that time. So that was, so to say, a shift that brought about shift in my attitude. So many fortunate moments came up after that experience. I got the chance to stay in Madhuban for almost 9 months after that. So many fortunate moments coming up, and Madhuban is the land of Bap Dada, Avyakt Baba, but also the Dadis and the Dadas. So I had a very nice experience, and I feel really fortunate to have those moments. And I would like to share one another incident which again transformed my life, and that is of the homework that Baba had given in one of the um, Avyakt Bapdada Murlis, because I stayed in Madhuban after that experience. I still remember, I don't remember the date as of now, but the point in the Murli was that for 3 months to keep the chart. And there were some points that Baba had asked us to note down in the chart. I still remember that, and I took a notebook and started writing my chart. It was, there was no columns and rows that I would write the question, but just those points that Baba had asked me to check in the Murli, and those 3 points, and just writing about those points every day before going to bed. And it was in Madhuban most of the time, and also in Bangalore some of the days. And it continued for 3 full months. You won't believe something very interesting happened. And I remembered this incident only a few hours back. I hadn't put it in my mind that I have to share this, but I just remembered this out of blue in the morning at Amrit Vela. So I thought of sharing. A very interesting thing happened that I finished my service role in Madhuban. I think it was in Gyan Sarovar. I was in service in the global office there, and I came back to the room, and the body was a bit tired maybe, and I just went to sleep. I had a thought that I would write in after waking up after a few minutes, But then I just slipped into, a sleep, and it was quite a long sleep for maybe half an hour or 45 minutes. And then all of a sudden I woke up, and the first thought I had, it was night already, all the roommates had come back and they were already sleeping, and I woke up suddenly. And then the first thought I had in the mind was, I didn't write the chart today. So it was around 11:30 or so at night. I and it was already dark in the room, only Shiv Baba lights. So I just gently opened the balcony door, and there was much light. I wrote some points and then came back and slept. There was no other expectation from Baba, but just writing, what he has told us. But after a few days, I think 3, 4 days later, it was Bap Dada's meeting date, and Baba gave the whole Murli. And I didn't remember about chart because Baba had said that Baba will check the chart after 3 months, and that was almost 3 months. And I didn't remember about the chart and that Baba had given that homework. It was just listening to the Murli. And in between, Baba mentioned about keeping the chart and who all did that exercise, Baba asked. So, and then Baba mentioned, I still remember that Murli. Baba said, okay, there are two things. One is that you write the chart uh, accurately as it happened within you, and you note down, you write it. Actually in Hindi the word is chart rakhna and chart likhna. So chart rakhna is more accurate, that you maintain the chart of your experiences and what Baba had asked us to do, and you maintain that chart. And then the second thing is just to write down, and you are not clear that it is accurate or not, you don't understand whether it is clear or not, but Baba appreciates both the children. And Baba said, get up those children, stand up those children who think that you have maintained your chart accurately. And obviously my mind was the witness. I am the witness. I said, no, I haven't kept the chart accurately, so I didn't get up. And then Baba made them sit and again asked, okay, stand up those children who uh, thought that they have written the chart without failing. So there was no other option, so I got up. So there were many others in the whole Shantivan Diamond Jubilee Hall, and I also was one among many souls who had done the efforts. And then Baba made us sit, and then Baba said something very unique, and this gives me goosebumps as I recall this experience in the morning today. Baba said, those who maintain their accurate chart and submit it to Baba, you take 25 marks for yourself. And those who thought that you written a chart but you haven't been accurate in that, you take 15 marks for yourself. And then Baba said something very amazing, and that Baba said, at the end, in the final examination, these marks will be counted. These marks will also be counted. And I was so amazed to listen to that. And I said, even for name's sake, if I might have written, but Baba is very generous and he gives us the marks for that also. And what if I can maintain the accurate chart? I'm not sure if I have been maintaining the accurate chart, and definitely actually not with the honest heart that I can tell. But something I learned is that it is never too late for anyone to start making efforts, because once that confluence age is there and Baba has come, the moment we realize, have the deep realization that this is what I have to do, then Baba is standing just there to bless us. And this is what I think the Avyakta Murli that we revised yesterday for you, and for me it is already 2 days. So that Avyakta Murli, Baba said this, Baba will bless us with his good wishes for following the orders, for being obedient for Baba's orders. And that is something which I cherish a lot. And somehow this had got submerged, but today it just came out, all of a sudden. So Baba gives us knowledge, Baba also guides us, Baba also helps us, shows the way how to do the efforts. I sometimes feel we just have to say, Baba, I don't know what to do. You just have to tell, and I will do, what you tell me to do, and rest all Baba takes care. Baba will make the whole situation conducive for us to do that effort. This is another experience. It is only the delay of my thought that I want to do, and then rest all Baba keeps prepared for us to go through that particular experience. And there was another experience in meditation. This is after my surrender, during my surrendered life. The earlier experiences were before coming to the center and started living at the center. But then this one was particularly uh, when it was the Raksha Bandhan going on, and how Baba protects us actually. During that time, I experienced when it was my turn here in Dubai. Jyoti Didi makes sure that Raksha Bandhan and 18 January are the best of the times to experience, do tapasya, and get full experience as much as the soul is willing to take, and take the maximum out of these two special auspicious days. So it was center residence Rakhi, and when it was my turn in front of Didi uh, and Baba, of course. So I started seeing, all our ancestor souls. We have that picture. No? I think it dates back to maybe 2012 or so. At that time, whoever were the ancestors, we have seen the picture, in the yajna. So I could feel that behind Didi, all these ancestor dadis were there, the yajna purvajas, Mamma, including Mamma, everyone were there. And I felt as though I was being given extra support, some which I hadn't asked for, which I hadn't expected, but they were giving extra strength and extra support, which was very clear. It was not a vision, but I could literally experience them. And that time got over, and after 3 4 days, I met with an accident, and it was accident in such a way that it would have turned into a horrible scene. But I felt all that extra support and from everyone that helped to me to actually that actually minimized the whole impact of the accident, because I was standstill in a underpass, and it was full of traffic, and I was standing there waiting for the traffic to move. And definitely I was going for a service place, and then there was a bus hitting from behind. And what support I actually received, it is not just support mentally, that consolation kind of thing, but something I was not aware that I should do, but it happened, I could do that. And that was to release the brake that I was having, that I had applied, something which I didn't know. And had I actually held the brake the way I was, because it was underpass and there were many vehicles in front of me. But then, because I released, and of course, I followed the rules by maintaining the safe distance. So that was again a point. And then I released the brake. I had released the brake without my awareness. So the impact got reduced. So it is not just that I think that something happens magically. Something happens magically, but in a very practical way. And later on, only I came to know that if I had held the brake, the impact would have been more, because there was a huge jerk, and there was a injury in my neck, and that still sometimes erupts in between. But all in all, Baba and all these great souls helped me overcome that. This is one of the miracles that I experienced, I went through, and I'm really thankful to Baba from that day on for as though giving a new life, a new outlook at towards the life. And again, last year I went through some physical challenge, physical body illness, and I remember again one day while just resting had this experience of the point of light in front of me. I was lying down, I was awake, I was just resting, and I had completed translating a book as part of my keeping busy myself in that time of recovery, and it was the point of light above me, and then surrounding the rays, these rays around me. Very, very clear feeling, and it's the same as what you can see behind me, the point of lighting. In fact, much more beautiful than this, very alokik. But the golden red light is just surrounding me. And one thought came at that time that I'm free now. I'm free from all germs. And then the series of positive thoughts, the chain of positive thoughts, there was such a flow of positive thoughts that I literally cannot count. And those positive thoughts were for myself, for those with whom I live, those whom I know, and for the whole world, for the nature. So, and that went on for maybe half an hour or so, that experience, though I was lying down, but it was a very unique experience. So these are some of the moments which I cherish a lot whenever I look back at my yoga experience. And of course, Baba keeps giving many newer experiences every day, literally. There is one or the other realization, and I feel, oh, I didn't know this aspect of Baba. I didn't know this very thing which he had mentioned in the Murli, but I hadn't realized. So every day it's really the newness that Baba keeps mentioning. I'm also asked to share my experiences with the dadis. And one is that we see always the photos and the videos of dadis meeting the great leaders, world leaders, and we cherish those moments. But in fact, I have seen the same gestures when they were meeting a little girl like me in those days in my childhood or later on also. Uh, there was no difference. When I see now dadis speaking to the leaders, and now if I recall my own uh, experiences with dadis, it is not a different behavior at all, and this makes me so much respectful to them, because it didn't matter to them whether how old I am, what background I am coming from, what I have studied, nothing. All this came later on in our interaction, but just giving that loving drishti and palna and sustenance. And this is never that, I experienced when I was personally meeting them. That is one thing, of course, which I cherish. But other thing is that I could feel that feeling, that sustenance coming from the stage, and they were sitting there on the stage very far, even in the Diamond Jubilee Hall. You see, it's so huge. If I was sitting in the back of the hall, Dadi's faces would be just like an ant, visible to us unless you look at the TV screen. But that experience, that rays, that vibrations coming from dadis, and that drishti, loving drishti, whenever they passed across us, and we were standing there, that that feelings of being acknowledged by them of our presence, it actually meant a lot to me. And this is what I take from dadis as palna. Not really that, I had spent hours and hours together with them. I did have some very close encounters with them, personal experiences, but most of the time it is from the stage, it is from when they were doing their responsible activities and I was looking at them. First of all, I would like to share about Dadi Hriday Pushpa, the mother of services in southern part of India. Um, I think the picture is there, and this is in Bangalore taken, and we had just returned from touring the whole city. As per her guidance, actually, she had called us by telegram. We were living in another city, but she had invited us, and then she made a program for us for 2 days bhatti or 3 days bhatti. I don't remember. I was very young at that time, but she made a program specifically for us and another family, if I remember clearly. And then Dadi said first bhatti and then going around in the city. So both the things were taken care of, and Dadi did that. But I remember only seeing Dadi, not much. For a long time, I had the diary that she had gifted me with her signature that she had written in English on godly service, Hirday Pushpa. Now, this was her signature. I'm not sure where the book is now. But one of the things which has helped me to understand knowledge through her is her sharing of her experiences. It's in Hindi language. And the title of the class is Karan Karavanhar Baba. And in that she shares her own experience of her first meeting with Sakar Baba. And of course, it was also Bap Dada that we now understand. And how Baba gave her the knowledge in a very simple way about the soul, and how the soul has confused itself to be the body, but now the need is to become the soul. And it seems Baba gave some time for the soul to realize this. And after some minutes, Baba again asked, because she came to Baba as a widow. So she was very unhappy with that life. Was something which she never wanted to, first of all, get into a household life. But very soon, very quickly, in few months, everything changed. And she was a widow and she had come with that sorrow feelings to Baba. And then after a few moments, Baba again asked her, "Child, how are you? Daughter, how are you?" And she replied to Baba saying, "Baba, you have told me just now that I am a soul and I never die and I am peaceful. And when you have told me this, then there is no need for you to ask me this question, how am I?" So I felt the way that she has taken that knowledge, there was no exposure to any other points of knowledge, but just the point that she is a soul, separate entity from the body. So it doesn't really matter how much I study the knowledge, for how long years I have been studying the knowledge, whether I have heard this class, that class, and the other class. But whatever I am hearing in the Murli, how much attention am I paying to that? So I was so impressed, highly influenced by this one class, um, and which made me understand that knowledge is actually very easy. Maybe we make it sometimes complicated with so many terminologies, but knowledge is actually easy to understand. And then if I just do what Baba has asked us to do, like Baba says, like if someone says sit and I sit, it's very clear, right? It's that simple. But then Baba says, consider yourself to be so. So it is actually that simple as well. I just need to consider myself as a point of light in the center of the forehead. So knowledge is that clear and easy. It's just that my attention on that point that Baba has mentioned. So this is something which I'm very influenced with Dadi's sharings. And I used to see when I was in Madhuban, I was there for 9 months, and in those days, Dadi Janki was also there, and Dadi Prakash Maniji. They would both come to the history hall, and they would be seated there for yoga. There would be someone else conducting the meditation, Amritvela Yoga, but Dadi Janki would be sitting on the side sofa, and Dadi Prakash Mani would be sitting in the sofa behind. And after Amrit Vela, everyone would turn to Dadi Janki to take drishti from her, and everyone would then turn towards Dadi Prakash Mani to take drishti from her. And this would go on. And then both the Dadis would come and meet each other in the middle of the hall. Both the Dadis would get up and go towards the other one. I remember this very clearly, and it's so inspiring for me because at that time, soon after Amritvela, it was still Amritvela as such, I would feel like two big tube lights. In those days, that's what I had the thought. Two big lights meeting each other. That was the feeling. They were literally lighthouse at that time. Lighthouse will still have light at the top, but the whole being would be light for them. And those two lights meeting each other, exchanging drishti, and again turning towards all the children in the history hall and giving drishti to everyone who had gathered. And this would happen every day in the morning. So, a very rich experience of Amrit Vela and the moments after that yoga. And I was given the instructions or whatever you call it to come on the field of service in Dubai. It was actually not specifically Dubai at that time when this incident happened. But I remember Dadiji calling me one day and speaking to me, and it was in her office, Dadi Prakashmani, um, and she had seen me during those 9 months, but that was the first very close interaction with Dadi. And Dadi asked me to sit next to her, but I didn't want to sit next to her because she's such a great personality. I felt, no, I cannot sit along with her. I said, no, I will sit in the front, down. And then she said, no, please come and sit here. I said, no, Dadi. And also, of course, there was another selfish reason that I would otherwise miss her drishti if I'm sitting on the side. So that was another reason, definitely. But then she gave me her stool, over which she had placed her legs. So I sat over there, and then Dadiji took my hand in her hand, and Dadiji started asking me a lot of questions, interview, so to say. And Dadiji holding my hand, the first feeling I had was, these are the same hands which Baba had held when Baba was becoming Karmatit. So that was the first thought. And then it was all paying attention to Dadiji's queries, and I was answering, and Dadiji asked my name, my family background, my education. I never worked. I just merely for namesake have studied journalism, but it's really not the proper study which someone has to do. So I cannot call it as a profession or a degree in a way, but it was just a, for me, time pass until I start living in the center. But then Dadi asked me some things which are interesting, because the same questions Dadi Janki also had asked, and that is, which subject do I like among the four subjects of our study? Knowledge, yoga, dharana, and service. Which subject do I like, and what has been my experiences in that? What do I feel about my life? So these are all the things that she asked me, and I could answer. I don't remember now what I did answer because I was so engrossed with the feeling that she's holding my hand, and that's it. That's something more than enough for me. So it went on for maybe at least 20 minutes, I suppose. So this was another very nice experience. Of course, I had some other experiences later on, but this is something which I cherish. And Dadi Janki, just I will share one point for everyone, every Dadi, because last year, in fact, before I begin this, I remember last year it was the lockdown time just had started, and there was a class that I was listening to from Sister Jayanti, and she was sharing how there is a great deal of benefit that can be gained by writing the gratitude points, and how it is nowadays psychologically also proven that instead of seeing what I haven't got, but what I have been blessed with, what I have received, if I can focus and turn attention towards that. And when I started writing that, first of all, it was like the bulleted points of what I have gained in my life, very superficial ones. But then I then started looking at my, what do you say, experiences with Baba, Dadis, and then I started writing those points, and there were so many coming very easily, just bulleted points, but I could make down. And even today, I remember few of the points which I make sure to insert in my journal here and there. Nowadays, it is all soft copy, so very easy to share and write also. There is no such big deal of editing. Just I have to insert one bulleted point, but I keep doing that even now. And when I started writing that, I just realized how Dadi Janki used to ask me, Janki, even before my stay in the center, my coming to stay in the center, she had asked, write a chart to me every year and send it to me every year. She had asked from that time onwards. And I remember sending the chart to her every year without fail. If I was coming to Madhubana and I knew that she would be there, I would write in hand and give the letter to her. But otherwise, I would definitely send her the email. And this is something which makes me feel how Dadi was such a big hearted soul, such a great personality. She has so many mic souls to serve. She has to give time so that Baba is revealed in front of the whole world, and the mic souls will do that, she knew. And also, she had been sustaining everyone through not only through words but through her mind. But then here is Dadi just giving the special attention, specific attention to someone like me, and asking me, and Dadi would read that. I have received the replies of Dadi where I should correct myself, where I should add something in my efforts. Dadiji has guided that. So, very deep feelings of gratitude for Dadi. And Dadi Gulzar ji's drishti was very powerful. In fact, I don't take much time because I know time is getting shorter. But I remember Dadiji, I met Dadiji last year in Mumbai, and it was just for few seconds. I was not sure that I would get that opportunity because you know how the times were last year. It was in February, and literally I had no strong thought that I should and must meet her, but just definitely made a journey to Mumbai because I was feeling that I should go somewhere, but where should I go? When the holiest of holy pilgrimage, the live pilgrimage is in Mumbai, then why should I go anywhere else? So I went there, and of course the first thought was the health of Dadiji, and it was absolutely okay for me even if I didn't get to see her. I had no such pushing thoughts, but definitely I went there and I got a golden opportunity to see her for maybe 5 seconds, 6 seconds. That's more than enough. But in that few seconds, maybe 10 seconds, so we were standing there in front of Dadiji and Drishti, and there was no difference between Dadi Gulzarji's being and the being that I had experienced when Avyakta Bap Dada had descended. Absolutely no difference at all. Of course, this was the experience earlier when I had met her. I'm sharing just the last meeting that I had with Dadi. But there was the same feelings even earlier, that when we see Dadi, it is Bap Dada. But then that day it was literally no difference at all. So, such was their life, that they literally became whatever Baba had told. And I feel much fortunate to at least to have got a chance to look at such great personalities. So, and one thing which I would definitely like to share here is there was extreme love, respect, and coordination between dadis. I have seen that many times, and that had come by the faith and understanding of their role in themselves and in Baba, and the role that they had to play in the yajna. So it came with that faith in their understanding. So perfect coordination between the dadis. So there was really the recognition that they had for themselves as well as for the others, not just other dadis, but in fact for the whole of the Brahmin family. So I feel that experiences can go on and on. It doesn't matter what experiences I have went through. In fact, what I mean to say is, it doesn't matter whether I have met dadis or haven't met dadis, but how much I have used those experiences to become and remain in soul conscious stage. I think that is the most important thing. It doesn't really matter how long I have been in Gyan, but really what effort am I doing to remain in soul consciousness. Everything is just a support that I might get, I might not get. And even if I'm getting, what ultimate use I am making from that to remain in soul consciousness, because this is the stage which will pull me towards Baba. This is the stage which will allow me to connect to Baba and burn my past negative actions. So everything is again on the side, but how much I am making this effort. If I am exposed to the dadis, well and good. If I am exposed to service opportunities, well and good. But how much I made the best use out of all these and then remained in soul consciousness. This is the most tricky part in the Brahman life, and this is the basis also. So everything is merged in this one practice. I remember I heard in a class that how Mama's efforts were, because this is the month of Mama. And I heard that once she was standing on the terrace in Amrit Vela. It was coming to be 4 o'clock in the morning. And this brother went up on the terrace and saw Mama standing there. And he asked Mama what she was doing. And she said, "Child, for 2 hours I have been practicing, consciously dictating my organs what to do. I dictate being a soul. My hands raise up, my hands on the sides, my hands come down, and I'm doing this for 2 hours. And now I feel that I am having little control. I have started doing that with conscious instructions." This was the effort Mama did. So very interesting story. I keep this one incident in front of me. I do know that there are many slippery moments, but then we have to remember This is what Baba again said in the Avyakta Murli of Sunday, that I should become Smriti Swarup, the embodiment of remembering the orders of Baba, and that is the main effort. So it is really up to me, looking at my own mindset, my own habits, what all I can do to keep reminding myself of Baba's orders, Baba's instructions, so that it's only when I remember I'll be able to do that. So after listening to that Avyakta Baba's Murli of Sunday, I felt that if I remember, I will definitely do it. You know, Baba brought these two things very close. You might have observed. If I remember, then I will definitely do, because the moment I remember, that means I'm connecting to Baba, the one who gave me the instruction through the Murli or through someone, through seniors. Baba gave me that instruction. So when I connect to Baba, Baba will take over the rest and help me, guide me through. So the practice of soul consciousness is very, very important at this stage. It had always been important, but right now this is the only thing I feel I have to do. So this is my, realization. So once I am that, what happens is that until now I have given a lot of importance to my mind, but now by remembering the instructions, connecting to Baba, being soul conscious, my intellect is getting stronger and stronger. So that will do the rest of the work, whether to control the waste thinking in my mind or whether to control my past habits and sanskaras from emerging all of a sudden. That work will automatically start happening. So Baba has come to make our intellect divine and strong, powerful. So Baba answers all the questions in the Murli. Baba very clearly gives all the instructions. The whole knowledge is very clear in front of us. And now, of course, with all our dadis going up, it is not only the help being received from Bap Dada, but Avyakta dadis as well. They are constantly there to help us. This is what we heard in the message, the Bhog message of Tadi Gulzarji as well. So Baba is there to bless every BK's pure thought for their, self-transformation. So I feel that is the time going on now. So it's just the delay that I create one thought, and Baba is there to just take me 100 steps, 1,000 steps ahead and give that experience and bless that thought. So Baba has been extremely gracious, extremely showering so many things to this soul. And I mean, just a lot of gratitude towards Baba. That's it, I can say. And also that it is never too late to make our efforts, to start our efforts.
Mm.
Om Shanti.
Thank you. Thank you, Sister Jyotika. It's so beautiful. I was just, as I was listening to your sharing, I had this thought that if I have to give a title to the spiritual life, what would be that title? So I was just churning on that, and I know there are a lot of words that are coming to my mind. A couple of things that are coming to my mind is the life of obedience, life of honesty, life of love, and um, it keeps coming back again and again, and there is so much depth to these three words: obedience, honesty, and being loved. And um, and and it's so rare to see these words of obedience and love in the same sentence. So and especially you nicely put it together, like when we listen to Baba, when we act on whatever Baba says, and then there is a reward, and Baba is there altruistically giving us. He's just telling us how to take it. and he's just telling us to just follow how to take it. That's all I'm asking. There's nothing that I'm giving everything altruistically, and that is love. That is love. Srimati is love. So beautiful. So there is a couple of questions here, and one of the question is, you are blessed with so many dadis, and some of the names we don't even know. So if you can give one liner for each of the dadi, I can quickly pull up the slide. So that will be really nice, because we hardly hear few dadis. I haven't heard who is Radhe Dadi, and who is
Sorry,
Darla.
I think that is a typing mistake. I think it is actually Sarla Dadi.
Sarla Dadi. Okay, okay, sorry.
Sarla Dadi of Bangalore.
Situ Dadi, haven't heard. Palu Dadi, haven't heard. Rukmani. Rukmani Dadi, is it the Dadi from Delhi?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I think she came on the stage once, I mean, within last
Many
decade.
times,
Yeah.
yes.
I mean, she had some problem with her back or something, even
Her
though
eyes, her
yeah.
eyes.
Oh, right. Yeah, she pulled herself onto the stage. And Baba was very much appreciating how much love she had for Baba. Yeah. So maybe you can give one liner for each of the dadi, or if those dadis are here in the picture, that will go long ways. Are those dadis here? I know Gange Dadi is here, and maybe you
Yes.
can point some of the dadis here, so that will, then we can put a face to the name.
Next to Gange Dadi is actually Shantamani Dadi on the top.
This is the first dadi. I mean, I don't know if you can see the pointer. The first on the top left corner.
She is Gange Dadi, right? I don't know 100%, but I think she is Gange Dadi. She is Gange
Yeah,
Dadi.
yeah,
And
right.
then next to her on the top is Shantamani Dadiji. She used to stay in Shantivan and look after all the administration there. She also happened to be Mama's Loki cousin, and they both together came to knowledge. And then it is Bridge Indra Dadi, who also happened to be one of the very senior Dadi who left body, I think, in 1990. And she was in Lokik Baba's daughter-in-law. And then it is Badi Didi, Didi Manmohini ji, and then it is Dadi ji, Dadi Prakash Mani. And next to Dadi Prakash Mani, on her left is Dadi Chandramani.
So I just want to give a pause. I see this picture here.
Yes, yes,
Do
yes.
you want to share something about that?
I don't remember anything except this photo that I have because it's interesting that you have showed, but actually I had sent it for you to see.
No, see all of
I
this
remember,
love.
I only remember that I was all of a sudden woken up from my sleep and I was being carried. This is what I remember from this photo. And of course, just the thought that Dadiji visited our house and blessed the house was the
Wow. So Dadi came to your house and Dadi woke you up from your sleep.
yeah, the center was just above our house. So
Mm.
Aditi had come for the inauguration of the new Baba center up above. So this is the
So you're
closest.
not just born in BK family, but you literally born in a BK center. You grew up in a BK center, literally.
Not really, but yeah, this is that moment. So Dadi Chandramani again also is the younger sister of Dadi Hriday Pushpa.
Yeah. So these are all
All later on knowledge that I have got, but I'm just sharing now since you are asking. And then next to Dadi Chandramani is Dadi Manohar Indra, and she was in Gyan Sarovar after Dadi Chandramani, looking after the. She was the one from whom I have learned all the stories of the yajna, because until she was there, she narrated the stories of the yajna in every Baptada's turn, in every meeting. This was a standard practice. She would narrate the stories of the yajna, how the yajna got established, everything she would share. And she is known to be very spontaneous in her replies. Tari Chandramani, we know her for her great laughter, and she would just laugh from her heart out. And I have heard that. And one of the time she just patted on my hand like this. I still feel, and this happens with all the dadis, happened with all dadis, that the moment they we felt their touch, there was the yoga current coming.
Mm. So I just want pointing who is this is Manohar Indra,
Narendra.
and she's very well known for. Uh, I remember Manohar Indra Dadi when she took everyone for Baba's Pahad. I think it's the old days. So I think it's more of a picture that I remember from one of the recordings of one brother showing, and it is really beautiful. Just imagine being in Baba's rock, and all dadis being there sharing their experiences, and they are taking all the BKs who are there into that experience on Baba's part. It was so beautiful, and he had a snapshot of it. It's really beautiful. Yeah, thank you. And who is the,
Sure about next to Dadi Manohar Indra, but
Mm,
down below it is Santri Dadi.
this is Santri Dadi.
Yes, Santri Dadi, and I'm not sure about the Dadi next to her. And then it
Mm,
is our respected Jagdish Bhaiji, and the most respected Vishwa Kishore Bhau in the middle of the three
mm,
brothers. And then it is Dada Anand Kishore. I vaguely remember Dada Anand Kishore, seeing Dada Anand Kishore during one of my visits to Madhuban, Pandav Bhavan. He was standing tall in the office, just in front of the Vice office in Pandav Bhavan. So I remember him very royally standing there. And I cannot relate the other two dadis with the names. So I
This
was
is all-rounder Dadi,
all-rounder dadi.
Dadi
Below,
Gulzar Dadi's mother.
yes. And down below it is second one is Bholi Dadi.
Oh, this is Boli Dadi?
Third one is Bholi
Acha,
Dadi.
this is
This
Boli, third one. Acha.
third one.
Second one is Dhyani Dadi, I heard. Yeah.
Okay. And the third one is Bholi Dadi, who used to take care of Baba's kitchen. And we know her by that. She would just be sitting there for the whole day, just in you, in silence, the same which I have seen. And brothers would come, our senior brothers who were very active in the kitchen, even now, actually, they are active in the kitchen. They would come, they would take the menu from Dadi, and Dadi would explain them, this is what I have seen. So Bholi Dadi used to stay in Pandav Bhavan, and it's Dada Chandrahas next to Bholi Dadi. And next to him is Dada Vishwarathan, who was a very strong follower of Baba's orders. And one of the specialities is that he used to conduct meditation in the meditation hall in Pandav Bhavan. So that again the memories I have for Vishwarathan Dada. So Dada would always say in his class, one point every class, that he would pat next to his seat and say that experience Baba being next to you, experience Baba being next to you. Baba yahan baitha hai, Baba saath hai. This was Dada's words. And then it is Lachu Dadi, um, Baba's care as well from a long time. Then it is Shilindra Dadi, and I'm not sure about the last Dadi. Many Dadis I have heard the name, but I cannot correlate. I tried to memorize and correlate their faces with their names, but I couldn't do that. But these are some of the dadis. The other dadis which I have mentioned in the names, I have come across them for some time only, but had really, there were one or the other points that I have taken from them. Sarla Dadi, of course, many things to share with her because I could stay for 1.5 years or more than that, little more than that, in Bangalore. And she was in charge. So every now and again we used to meet her. So, mhm.
It's so beautiful. You're literally not only born and grew up in Baba's house, but also you continuously got Palna, and you get to spend time almost 9 months in Madhuban when all dadis used to live there. It is not when dadis were on service away, but all dadis were used to live in Panda Bhavan together. And so you got a really beautiful opportunity to spend time and then feel their vibrations and presence.
And if you counted the dadis on all the 4 campuses, it would be around 11 or 12, I think. Plus
Wow.
the dadis who would be visiting from other centers who were
Right.
elsewhere in India. So they would also visit. So,
Mm.
and these dadis had so much love for the Murli. They would sit on the first row while Dadi Prakash Maniji would read the Murli. All the other dadis also never missed a class. They would sit in the front rows um, or in the class they would be, and imagine they would have heard the Murli so many times, but they would still be there attending the Murli class. So, amazing dadis.
And it will be really beautiful to see all the dadis listening to the Murli. And Murli is not actually the Murli. It's not just the knowledge. It is filled with all memories. Literally, I remember whenever I used to listen to Murli in Madhuban when dadis used to read, I used to feel how much excited that this used to get. I remember I was there before Baba. Baba was telling this, when this situation was going on, especially Sakar Murlis when they were reading, right? So and just imagine all dadis are there. Everyone's memory is coming alive. They transform the whole classroom into those good old days where Brahma Baba was there. I'm sure why Baba tells that Madhuban Vasis are so blessed because they get to relive all the Sakar days because dadis are there who create that atmosphere. And every day they read the Sakar memories, literally. Sakar Murli is nothing but Sakar memories, right? And it's so beautiful. Thank you. Thank you very much. And
Thank you, the whole family, and my deep regards to Chandru Devi, who has been also one of my inspirations. And of course, our dear Hema Ben, who had always been present for me as a elder sister and always approachable. And Sukanya Ben and Kyoko Ben, and literally, I have taken so much from all of you, and so many thanks. And literally, that gratitude. I see Sukanya Ben so silent and doing everything. She has been one of my inspirations.
yeah, so we couldn't have the Hema Ben here, and definitely we do feel how much love she has for Dubai family and especially for you. She sent a special message to everyone inviting for this session. Yes. Sukanya Ben, you want to share if you want to unmute yourself?